Good morning, everyone. Just confirming, you guys can see the slides, right? My name is Ravi Raghunath, and I'd like to welcome you to our information session for the BSc Information Technology program. This program is the newest and the most affordable BSc in Trinidad at the moment, and we plan to keep it that way. May not be the newest all the time, but definitely we're looking at keeping it as being one of the most affordable BSc as well. All right. So just a bit about the speaker. My name is Ravi Raghunath. I'm the Executive Director of CTS College, right? This is my phone number and my email address. Feel free to keep this information as well, right? And you can reach me anytime, right? I just have one phone and this is it. So, you can call me whenever you need to as well. You could also reach me on WhatsApp also, right? And apart from that, you also have the program manager for the BSc, that's Sanjeev Nuno. Sanjeev is unable to join us this morning because he has a class. So I told him his class is his priority. So make sure he goes to his class. So I'll take over the reins for today. Okay. All right. So what are we going to cover in today's session? So these are some of the things we are going to cover. We'll look at why study a BSc in Information Technology. Why study with the University of Bedfordshire? There are other programs being offered there are other schools offering the same program. And why study at CTS College? Because as I said, there are other schools as well. Then we look at the program itself. What are the features of the program? What am I going to learn? How can I fit this BSc into my busy life? What kind of support will CTS provide me? Because I need a lot of support, guys. And, are you guys up to the challenge, right? And where will I graduate? Am I eligible? What are the entry requirements? Am I eligible to start this program? And how much will this program cost me? And when do I start? So those are some of the things we're going to look at during today's session. Okay. Now, if I were to ask you guys, why did you come to today's session, right? I guess it's to get some more information, but really, why are you considering pursuing your degree, right? For any one of you, you may be a parent or you may be the student, but if you don't mind just sharing with me, why are you considering studying for this degree, right? Any particular reason? What do you hope to get at the end? Anyone? Amanda, Anisha, Anastasia, Atiba, Celine, come on, any one of you guys, right? Anyone on the list here today, would you mind sharing with me what you hope to get at the end?
Pleasant good morning, everyone again. Well, for me, how I watch it holistically, I am looking to qualify myself at a level that I would be able now for my business. So I would be able to show my level of competence where I would be able to secure contracts and stuff. And that, not only that too, I would be able to pass knowledge down to my employees. So that is basically what level I am, how I watch it from there.
Wonderful. And I think that's a very refreshing perspective as well, right? I've also seen Suresh mention for the professional recognition as well. Very good, right? I think many of us, the reason why many of us study, we look for, well, we've been asking these questions at many of our information sessions, and I'll share with you what many of our students have said in the past as well. And these are some of the more popular answer, right? For many students, they're hoping at the end they may get a promotion. You may already be employed, but you're hoping that having a degree will secure you a promotion. Some companies, some persons as well are looking at a changing career. So they're hoping that by switching to the BSc IT, it will help them to achieve that career change. Some students are studying because their work employees has incentives, and therefore if they acquire their degree, they will get an increased salary, not a promotion, but an increase in salary, right? Some persons do it because they're looking at starting or growing their business. You already have a business and you want to grow your business, and therefore you're doing the course to help you to grow your business, right? Others do it for personal achievement, right? You've always wanted to do your degree, and therefore I've had a 60-something-year-old retired gentleman who did the degree. He said, look, he put his kids through college and university and they've graduated, but he's always wanted to do his degree. He was a teacher who is retired, and he did his degree not to get employment or anything, but because of personal satisfaction, right, and personal achievement. Some of us do it because we want a practical experience. Like Atiba said as well, he wants to be able to pass on the knowledge to his staff. And what you're going to learn in the program is a lot of practical, you'll gain a lot of practical experience in the program as well as definitely to enhance your employability as well, right? Because for many of you who may not be employed, you're hoping to get employed, and this having a degree definitely will enhance your employability. Now, often we liaise with students, and we've often found that one of the biggest reasons why persons don't continue their studies, well, there are different reasons, But one of the biggest reasons is because of price. We live in a very price sensitive market, and one can easily understand why as well. With COVID impacting our jobs and our livelihood as well, we need to really carefully consider how we spend our money. But we've also seen as well that when employment options are down, often people turn to study to basically re-equip themselves and to give themselves a competitive advantage. What I want to share with you guys is simply the fact that a degree itself and studies is really an investment in yourself. And I want to use a simple example using an OJT, right? So I'm using the salary of an OJT to show you the difference in investment it makes just by having your bachelor's degree. The following is a chart of the salary, right? So is the salary chart for the OJT employee, right? And if you look at it, if you have CTS qualification, an OJT employee will get roughly $3,025 per month. But with a bachelor's degree, they can get as much as $7,562.50 per month, right? So let's take a look now, and I'm going to ask you a few questions as well. So just go back. We're focusing on moving from a CXC to your degree, right? $3,025 is your monthly salary as an OJT versus $7,562 as an OJT employee with a bachelor's degree. How much more would an OJT with a bachelor's degree earn versus one with just CXC passes? Just a rough estimate. I'm not looking for a final dollar and cents and accurate value, just a rounded value. About how much thousand more would you say?
About 3,000 something.
All right, cool. Right, on Derek, yes, I remember, and the name is very familiar too. Right, so the difference roughly is actually $4,500, and if we were to be accurate, is $4,537.50. Right, so that means every month you are earning over $4,500 more as an OJT with a bachelor's degree versus an OJT with CXC passes. Now, you're not going to work 1 month and quit, right? Of course. So in 1 year, how much would that equate to in 1 year if you worked as an OJT with a bachelor's degree versus just CXC? So you multiply that by 12, and what you get roughly is about $54,000 more you would have earned in 1 year. That $54,000 could probably get you a car, right? That's the difference in earning. And that would have paid for the entire bachelor's degree at the same time, right? Now, again, you're not going to work for 1 year and quit. Let's assume that your salary never changed, right? So no inflation or anything like that. But if your salary didn't change, for most people, how many years would a person work in general? Most people working life is what? About 40, 45 years or so. So let's suppose this person worked for 40 years, right? Using that difference in salary, how much more would the OJT with a bachelor's degree have earned? Over a 40-year period, you would have earned more. You would have earned over $2 million more over a 40-year period. You imagine what you could have done with $2 million more, a house. Imagine your children benefiting from that and their children too, right? Some of us may be benefiting from our great-grandparents, hard work as well, right? Some of us, we didn't really benefit at all, right? But hopefully we will lay a foundation for our kids and our grandkids as well, okay? So given that's the case, this is just a simple example to show you that having a higher qualification can provide you with opportunities. You're not guaranteed to get a job or those salary as well. You may get a lot more, you may get less depending on where you work. But the reality is that what we do know is that, in most workplaces where you go, often the person at the top, often not all the time, has a higher qualification. You go to many jobs and the senior persons are often well qualified, right? We've seen that education does make a difference in many places as well, and certainly here also. So my recommendation to you guys is that, to get your degree, it is a cost, but that cost will pay off for itself as well, right? In US and Canada, a lot of people take loans to get qualified, but they often be able to pay it back over time, right? Because they would have gotten their jobs and gotten a better career, better quality of life, etc., that sort of thing. What I also want to look at now is the World Economic Forum. They're probably the most authoritative body when it comes to, in terms of economics and the job market and that sort of thing. And this is what the World Economic Forum has said about the changing job market. They suggest that the workforce is automating faster than expected, displacing over 85 million jobs in the next 5 years. So in the next 5 years, over 85 million jobs will become obsolete because automation is taking place. So automation in tandem with the changes that are brought about by COVID is causing a double disruption. As a result, right, they expect that jobs by 2025, there'll be a different set of skill set people will need as well for the workplace, right? Some 43% of businesses surveyed indicate that they are set to reduce their workforce because of the integration of technology. So people's jobs are basically going to be on the line the more automation takes place. But of course, some companies are finding new jobs as well for the employees. So basically, you have to retool and re-equip yourself. Now, if you look at these jobs that are coming in and out, so there are two columns, one for increasing demand and decreasing demand. You will look at the ones that are increasing. A lot of them are IT-based. Data analysts, AI and machine learning specialists, big data specialists, digital marketing, process automation, business development, digital transformation, information security analysts, software and application developers, Internet of Things specialists, etc. So as you go through, a lot of these are IT-related jobs as well that World Economic Forum is predicting are going to be the new in jobs, right? So given that's the case here, guys, right, it's an IT degree basically is a strong relation with IT degree and the new jobs that are taking place in the market. So it's a good way of future-proofing yourself as well. So let's look at the University of Bedfordshire, right? Why study with the University of Bedfordshire? For many of you, you may not be familiar with the university because they definitely have no team in the Premiership division. But just to share with you a bit about the University of Bedfordshire, right? They have a heritage that goes back to more than 100 years. They have over 20,000 students from over 120 different countries, including Trinidad and Tobago. They have 5 campuses alone in the UK: Luton, Bedford, Puttridge, Alsberg, and Milton Keynes. But apart from that, as any good business as well, what they started to do is partner with institutions around the world. So they started in the Middle East and China, etc., and they started developing relations there. There are a lot of students from China actually who go to the UK to study. So what they did was they started opening partners, working with partners in China so that the student does not absolutely need to come to the UK to study. They can study from China. And then they expanded that, and now they've reached Trinidad and Tobago, and we're very proud to partner with them as well. They ranked in the top 6% of universities in the world, right? And they also won the Queen's University Prize in 2013, right? These are some of their rankings, but as I said, I wouldn't focus purely on rankings. To be quite honest, when you're choosing a degree, there's a lot of different things you need to factor in, and we'll talk about some of those as we go through as well, all right? Now, why study with CTS College? In terms of CTS College, we are a private institution. We have over 21 years in the education industry. We are ACTT recognized, and we're also recognized by the Ministry of Education, right? And we offer a range of programs. And actually, since COVID started, we've broadened the range of programs. So now we offer from preschool to primary, to secondary, to tertiary. And in tertiary, we offer certificate, diplomas, degree, and master's qualification as well. Then apart from all of these, we offer a broad range of certification courses to complement your degree. In fact, right now, certification courses are trending. A lot of people are doing certification courses, or what we call micro-credentials qualification, because it's simply, they want qualification as quickly as possible, and the micro-credential qualifications or certification courses are really where you can get qualified as quickly as possible, right? And employers are looking at in fact, we have found now that the job market is changing. What employers wanted 10 years ago or 20 years ago is very different from now. Even the employees themselves are changing. In fact, the new trend is that employers are looking for employees with a combination of academic qualification as well as soft skills, leadership skills, right? Communication skills, right? That sort of thing. So it's very important that you equip yourself with a myriad of skills, not just academic only, but also focus on sharpening your soft skills because employers need those. Now, this page is what we call our bragging page, right? Because here, this is where, just to share with you some of the things CTS has also won, right? Because for many of you, as a small school, we've done a lot, we've achieved a lot. We have over 98 AB World Prize winners since 2007. In fact, in the last 5 years, every year we have consistently won more AB World Prize than any other school in Trinidad. Right? We also set the record with AB for the most World Prize winners at any one session. We had 13 World Prize winners in one session, which is a new world record, if you want to call it that. A World Prize is given to the student who got the highest mark in the world in that AB qualification. Now, AB is offered in over 30-something different countries, over 200 and something schools offering the AB program. given how popular it is as well, right? To win these awards and have students getting the highest in the world really means something to us, right? Apart from that, we've won multiple awards with the University of Bedfordshire as well as with ABME and with Australian Institute of Business as well. I didn't put all of them here, but even too, we've won awards with ACTT. ACTT had what they call the Quality in Tertiary Education Awards. They no longer have it because of budgetary constraint, but when they did have it, CTS College has won more awards for student support services than any other school. We've won 6 awards for student support services, 3 for excellence in teaching and learning, for established quality management system, and 2 for teaching and excellence in teaching and learning, right? So we've won in total 11 ACTT awards, more than any other school in the country. And that means a lot to us because as a smaller institution then, right, and competing against the giants, we were like a David and Goliath story, right? Competing against UE, University of Southern Caribbean, UTT, Costa, all the big names, right? And to win awards like these meant a lot to us as well. And as a student, you know, I could share with you how you benefit from these as well when we talk about our student support services, right? So we'll share more about those later on as we go through the session. Now, in terms of our experience with delivering a BSc in IT, we've been delivering a BSc in IT since 2006, right? So that's over 15 years of experience delivering the program. Our average pass rate, in fact, it is now over 90%. Last semester, our pass rate was 99%. It's a new record we had set last semester. We had over 300 students passing the assessment out of 304 assessments taken. I think 300 out of 304 passes we got. That was incredible, right? And the 4 students, well, the 4 cases where an assessment was not passed was the student got a referral, where they got a chance to redo it without repeating the entire course, just to redo an assessment, right? So our pass rate is really very high right now, right? And we've been in, not just that, but the number of A grades we're getting is really high. So we had over 83% of the student got an A grade. So all of these really are telling stories of the support mechanism that we have in place. It's not that the exams are easy or giveaway exams, none of those, but really we go above and beyond in really supporting our students. We'll talk more about our classes where they recorded and stuff like that, and all the different support that you have available to you. That makes a big difference. One of the things I want to encourage you to consider as well is when you are looking at a school, right? Don't just focus only on pricing, but look at you. How well does the school look after you, right? Would they provide the kind of support you need to be able to help you through your journey as well? So given that's the case, we'll share more about the student support services available at CTS. Now, in terms of the program, I'll share with you as well some of the things we have found that liaising with students and employers, what they have wanted in the program. So we have liaised with numerous students, and even with you guys, we'll be liaising to find out what you guys want in your program. For many students, they want an internationally accredited program or internationally recognized program, because we have a lot of students now who are migrating to Canada, the US, etc., and even the UK, but Canada is where the bulk of students are migrating to, right? And if you are thinking about going to Canada, this program is recognized in Canada. It's equivalent to a Canadian degree. So therefore, if you go to Canada, you'll have what is equivalent to a Canadian degree, right? So they want a program that's fully accredited, that employers will recognize as well, that is recognized by ACTT. And if you're to travel to different countries to live or work, your program is recognized or your qualification is recognized. 2, students often have to travel as well. And because they have to travel, they want to continue to access their classes. So they want a program that was globally accessible. And this program is, no matter where you are in the world, or even in Trinidad or Tobago, you could access this program online, right? There's an online learning environment, and all the classes are online via Zoom. Apart from that as well, what employers wanted employees who could add value. They wanted employees with practical skills. So we looked for a program that was practical. So throughout this program, we'll talk about the problem-solving skills that you'll be developing as you go through the program. For many students as well, if you could get your degree tomorrow, you will take it, right? So for many students, they wanted to get their degree as quickly as possible. And given that's the case, they wanted an accelerated program. They don't want to wait 5 years to complete their bachelor's degree. They want to get their degree as quickly as possible. So what we did, we worked with the university to be able to deliver what is now the most accelerated bachelor's degree in Trinidad. In 2 years, you could complete your bachelor's degree, and I'll share with you how that can be achieved, right? And then, of course, as I said, we live in a very price-sensitive country, and therefore you want an affordable investment. And I'll talk to you more about that as well as we go through. So in terms of the accreditation bit now, let's talk about each in detail. In terms of accreditation, this program is accredited. It's accredited in Trinidad by ACTT, right? It's recognized by ACTT, but in the UK, right, before this program could be approved, right, it has to go through quality assurance. So the QA, which is the Quality Assurance Agency in the UK, they are an independent body that has been established. They are the ones who could confirm, they are the ones with degree granting power in the UK. You just cannot create a university just like that. You have to go through a process, right? And that power to offer degree is conferred by the QAA. And QA does frequent reviews. Every 5 years, QA does review in the UK. So the university is continuously assessed and reviewed by QAA. So you can be sure that, you know, they didn't pass and then they just did nothing after that. No, they have to continually improve quality. As part of our quality process as well, with CTS offering the university's program, all our marketing and promotion must be approved by the university. All admission, meaning when you apply, you're not approved by CTS, you are approved by the university. So all admissions are approved by the university. All our lecturers are approved by the university as well, right? We just can't just choose lecturers like that. We select them, of course, but then we have to get approval from the university. So it goes through our university approval process. All our teaching materials provided by the university. Of course, we can contextualize them to ensure that local content is included in the program as well, using local examples. So even, for example, now our students in, let's say our students have to select a problem. So they have to choose a company and come up with a solution to their problem. So many students are using their workplace or different companies that they're aware of that need an IT solution and coming up with solutions for them as well. And that's, you know, localizing the content of the program, right? So all assessments are set by the university. They are marked by the university. The university also conducts annual audits, as well as they do continuous review and feedback as well. Now, this program is globally accessible, right? And how is that so? Well, apart from having students all over the world doing the program, the university has established an online learning environment. It's called BRIO, right? Bedfordshire Resources, right? So basically, with BRIO, you can log in and you can view all your units that you're enrolled in. You will submit all your assignments on BRIO. All your learning resources are there. But apart from BRIO, CTS College also provides you with our own shared drive with all the materials from BRIO. All your lecture notes are recorded and uploaded as well. So if you miss classes, or even if you attended class, you have access to the recorded session that you could watch over and over and over. We provide past assignments, sample solution from past students who have done the best. So you can actually see what a quality assignment look like. So when you're doing it, you could say, hey, okay, this is what they did and they got a really high mark. So you have a view of what a really good mark looks like, right? Or an assignment that got a really good mark as well, right? We conduct a lot of tutorial sessions as well for students. And we also use lecture notes that are provided by the university, which we tailor as well. And all of those are available to you in our shared drive, okay? Apart from that, you have access to a student information desk that's available 24/7 in the UK as well, okay? Next, the program is extremely practical. It's work applied. And what that means is that, you know, throughout the program, you are developing practical skills to solve real life problems. In year one, you may have to write a program to develop a computerized system for a taxi booking system or a hotel management system, or you may have to develop a design and develop a database for a company as well. So there are often problems that you're solving, right, throughout the course, right? Same thing in year two, year three, you're constantly solving problems and therefore you're learning actual practical skills. In fact, even in year 3, you can actually choose your case study. You could choose your company and solve a problem for that company. And we have seen students using the company that they're working for and recognizing where a problem exists and coming up with a solution to automate, right? To automate that problem so that it solves the problem as well. The other thing we look at is the program is accelerated. Now, how did we achieve an accelerated program? Now, this program in the UK takes 3 years. Well, why is CTS able to offer it in 2 years then, if that's the case? Well, this is what happens. In the UK, right, each level consists of 4 subjects, right? So there are 4 subjects in each level. A student does 2 subjects per semester, and there are 3 semesters for the year. So let's say you start in September, you do 2 subjects from September to January. Then your second semester is from January to June or to May. You do your other 2 subjects. And then for the summer vacation, which is really like May, June to September, you don't do anything. So basically you have 4 months off. So you do 8 months of classes and 4 months off. Now, during those 4 months, students tend to travel back to their home to go back to their families. That's because in the UK, a lot of students are full-time students, straight from A-levels doing their degree. Many of them would have left their homes and stayed on campus because the UK is a very large country in relation to Trinidad, right? Some students would have traveled from different countries to get to the UK to study. So therefore, it's an opportune time for them to rejoin their families, to go back home and spend time with their families. In Trinidad, it's not the same. Students are not going to leave their home to come to Chaguanas to live to do this program. You're doing it online. So what we ask the universities, look, our context, our culture is a lot different, and it's not the same as the UK. So after a student spends 8 months finishing level 4 or 8 months finishing level 5, do they really need to just do nothing for 4 months? Can they just go on to the next level? And the university agreed to it. So you spend 8 months doing level 4, then you go on to level 5. In 8 months, you do level 5, you go on to level 6. So when you look at it, you complete level 4, which is year 1 in 8 months. You complete level 5 in 8 months, which is year 2, and complete year 3 in 8 months. 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24 months. 24 months is 2 years. So in 2 years of study, you can complete your bachelor's degree. And that is what we did. We didn't shrink the semester. We simply removed the break periods. Now, what if a student wants to go on a break? They can. At the end of level 4, student could take a break. At the end of level 5, they could take a break. In fact, if after they completed 1 semester, they want to take a break, they can as well. You could take a break in between semesters as well. The choice is yours. So you still have that opportunity. But the truth is, most of our students are simply looking to complete their degree in the fastest possible time. Therefore, from a Trinidad context, we now have the most accelerated degree program without shrinking anything other than removing the breaks in between. Is that understandable, guys? Any question regarding that? So I want to reiterate, we didn't shrink the semester. We're not trying to rush and force feed you anything just to get you to complete a degree. It's the same semester duration, the same amount of time you would have taken in the UK to complete a semester. You're doing it in Trinidad, except that, you know, we don't have that lengthy 4-month break where you do nothing, right? So that's why. Okay, next. So that allows you to complete your degree in 2 years. Okay, you're doing 2 units at a time. All right. Next, the investment is of an affordable investment, and I'll go through the entire cost process with you, all the costing, right, later on in the slides. And just to note as well is that we also have financing available through GMMB. So we partner with GMMB so students can actually get financing through GMMB. Of course, if you have your own bank, you can, well, you bank at a bank, then you could use the bank that you bank with to get your loan if you wish, or if you need to take a loan. Okay. All right. Now, let's look at how the program is structured, because this program has to fit into your busy lifestyle. For some of you, you don't want to spend a lot of time in classes. Some of you have kids, you need to also allocate. So you want to study, you have your personal goals to achieve. Some of you are working and you have other commitment as well. You want a program that could fit into all of these. You don't want a program that consumes you. But at the same time, you understand and recognize that I'm going to study, so my time will be dedicated. Some of my time will be dedicated to my studies. And you need to allocate time to it as well. It is a commitment of sort, right? So how will this program fit into my busy schedule? Well, let's look at how the program is structured. In each level, there are 4 units. Level 4 has 4 units, level 5 has 4 units, level 6 has 4 units. Now you're doing 2 subjects at a time or 2 units at a time. So in one semester, you do 2 units, and then the next semester, you do 2 units. Now, before we get to the timetabling, let's look at the entry requirement one time while we're here. Now, who starts at level 4? Ideally, right, if you have A-levels, or you don't need to have A-levels, but if you have A-level, definitely you can start at level 4. If you've done any other qualification, you can start at level 4. If you have any general work experience, non-IT, whether it's IT or non-IT, you can start at level 4, right? Or I have found that if you're a mature candidate, the university accepts you into level 4 as well. So let's say you're 19 years old, typically university starts you at level 4, right? Now, next, there's level 5 now. So you can move to level 5 after completing level 4. Now, before we'll get back to persons who just finished their CTS qualification, right? Okay, so we'll get into how the courses are evaluated with assessments. So I'll get into assessments and those shortly, right? Okay. All right. So in terms of the assessments, we'll talk about that shortly. But for now, in terms of, let's look at the different levels and the entry requirements. So to get into level 5, you could pass level 4, move to level 5, or if you already did a level 4 IT qualification at another institution, you can use that to get into level 5. You may have had an incomplete qualification, but because you are studying at another program and you've partially completed it, you can switch over using the passes that you got from your other qualification. Or if you have IT work experience and some IT certificates, you could get into level 5. To move on to level 6, which is the final year, you could pass level 5 and move to level 6. Or if you have an associate degree in IT related program, right? So let's say you did your associate degree at Costat, right? Roytech, etc. You can start level 6. If you did the BTech HND, you can start level 6 in IT, that is, right? If you've done a level 5 IT diploma, let's say you did your UTT diploma in IT related field, you can start here. If you did the program of School of Practical Accounting, the EduQual IT qualification, you should be able to start at level 6, right? Or if you did the ABMA qualification and you did level 5, you can move on to level 6 here. Or if you have 6 or more years of IT work experience and you have IT certificates as well, then you could possibly be considered for level 6 also, right? So these are the different options that you have. Now, what if I don't fit into any of those? Well, if you don't, there's the bridging program. Now, the bridging program really was created for persons who don't qualify for one of the previous level, right? So based on that, the bridging program it currently has 1 unit, but I think the university is looking at changing it to 2 units, right? So ideally, it's ideal for persons straight out of CTech. You would start the bridging and then move from bridging to level 4, right? That's the typical process. However, my recommendation is whenever you're applying, apply directly. All right. There seemed to be a small internet issue there, but are you hearing me back now? Seems to be okay now, right? Okay. So in terms of the bridging program, it's really ideal for persons straight out of CSEC, right? If you're 18, 19, I would recommend level 4. But in most cases, when you're applying, I ask you to apply for level 4 and let the university determine if you should start at level 4 or the bridging. Last semester, the students who came straight out of CSEC were accepted directly into level 4, and they are doing really well so far. We found that there's no disadvantage of starting at level 4 versus the bridging. But again, that's a university decision. It's not within CTS remit, right? So just to note as well, the next semester starts in 5th of February, right? But we're asking students to apply from before. Thanks, Siddiq, for helping me out with the question as well. Okay, so, and we'll cover the next start date as well as we go through the slides. So all of those are included. Now, in terms of what will I learn? In terms of what you're going to learn in year one is more introductory. So therefore you look at introduction to software. So you would learn Oracle. So you're using Oracle to develop a database solution for a company. You would use Java to write programs in Java. You would learn Python and write programs in Python. And those are very much trending on the job market as well. You would also have access to Cisco Academy for the networking course, because one of the courses includes networking, and you will have access to Cisco Academy. And once you pass the course, right, once you pass the Cisco exam, right, you will also get a Cisco certification. Isn't that wonderful as part of your degree, right? Apart from that, year one will also include students, help students to also look at the skills that employers want to help them to recognize those skills so that they can develop those skills also. In level 5 now, students will focus more on the design aspects, right? And also more implementation, because you're going to develop solution. You're going to learn PHP programming in year 5, as well as designing interfaces as well, right? You'll also learn other tools as well. So you learn more on Oracle. You'll build an application of an Oracle. In year 1, you use Oracle to do the database backend. In year 2, you're going to do the front end using Oracle Apex, right? And in year 3, you do more independent projects. So our project that we're doing right now is an e-commerce application for your thesis. Of course, you could choose your own application if you wish, right? Also in year 3, you would learn about, emerging technologies such as Internet of Things. You'd also learn about robotics, artificial intelligence, and stuff like that, right? As part of your course, but also too, you would learn IT project management as well. So those are some of the things you will be doing in your final year. These are the different courses in the program. So in the bridging program, there's currently 1 course, but in level 4, there are 4 units, level 5, 4 units, level 6, 4 units, and you're doing 2 at a time. Each unit is worth 30 credits, right? There are no options. All units are core, right? And ideally, it starts from year 1. Now, how could you fit this into your busy life? And this is where we look at class times, etc. So there are 3 intake periods for the year, 1 in February, 1 in June, 1 in October. Now, sometimes the intake in February starts in January. Sometimes the intake in June starts in May. And sometimes the intake in October starts really at the end of September, right? It's just how it is. But this is the intake periods that the university, the university call them the February, June, and October intake. So we'll work with their terms. But it's just that sometimes your start date might be in end of January versus February, etc., right? So every 4 months, there's a new class that's starting. In terms of how these subjects are offered now, right? Each subject has a 2-hour class. So you have a 2-hour class per subject for the week, 1 2-hour class. So because you're doing 2 subjects, ideally you have 4 hours of classes for the week. Classes are mainly on Saturdays, but there may be exceptions. Now, apart from that, depending on the nature of the subject, we may have additional classes. So for example, in level 4, right, one of the subjects is made up of 2 distinct parts. One part, for example, is networking, and the other part you're using databases. So we split that into 2 separate courses, right? So you do it as 2 separate classes, right? Next, in terms of the units now, each unit or each subject is assessed via assignments mainly, but you have different methods of assessment, which we will go through shortly, right? Additionally, the semester runs for roughly 15 weeks or so, right? Typically, you have a 2-week break at the end of the semester before the next semester starts. This is an example of the timetable that we'll be using for the next intake. So our classes start in February 5th, right? But these are basically the timetable for the different levels. So there's 1 class for the bridging program on Saturdays, right? For level 4 now, the computer system structure is split into 2 parts. Databases is on a Saturday, but the networking is done on an evening. And principal programming is done on a Tuesday evening, right? If you're doing level 5, you have 2 classes on a Saturday. And in level 6, right, if you're new, you'll be doing 2 classes on a Saturday. But if you're in your 2nd semester of level 6, you'll be doing 1 on Saturday and you have evening. And in the evening class, notice we split one of the subjects into 2, where the programming is done in 1 day and the assignment tutorial is done on another day, right? So this is what your typical class structure look like. At most, well, in bridging is just 2 hours of classes, level 4, 6 hours of class, level 5, 4 hours of classes, level 6, 4 or 6 hours of classes, depending, right? So that's not a lot when you look at it, because secondary school, you would have done what? You're doing almost 7 hours of class a day, right? By 5 days a week, right? So here you're just doing 6 hours for the entire week. So you have a lot more time to study. So the focus is not on class time, but study time. Okay, right? Okay. So in terms of how will you be assessed? In terms of the assessment now, you'll be assessed via a different set of assessment methods. For example, you have coursework assignments, right? So coursework really is assignment where you're given the assignment maybe 5 weeks ahead. Sometimes you're given it at the start of the semester and you have to do it 3 months later. So you're given the assignments way ahead and you have enough time to be able to complete the assignments. You may have group project as well as individual projects. Sometimes you may have to do a collection of work and submit it as a portfolio. Sometimes you may have an essay, but the essay are more at level 4. You have an essay, one subject has an essay. Or you may have to do presentations where you develop your project and you have to present it now. As a consultant, you're presenting it. And in a few instances, you have exams. So in level 4, you have a couple of subjects with exam, right? But these are the different ways you assess. So it's a variety of different assessment methods, with the most popular assessment method being coursework, right? Now, how do I pass a unit and progress? To pass a unit, you need to get your overall mark in the unit must be 40 or more, right? Doesn't sound too difficult, right? So 40 or more total mark, you can pass the unit. Now, if you get a mark less than 40, right, then you qualify for referral. So you don't have to repeat the unit, you'll get a referral, but we'll talk about that shortly. Now, apart from that, to progress from one level to the next, right, you must pass at least 3 out of the 4 subjects in one level to move on to the next level. But in addition to that, you should also, the subject you fail, you should have gotten at least 35 marks in that subject to progress, unless the university makes an exception. Now, what if you fail a unit, right? So if you fail the unit, then the rule of thumb is that what they do, you don't have to pay to repeat the unit. You are given what you call a referral assignment for each fail assessment. And once you pass the referral assignment, then you pass the unit. Your mark is capped at 40, but you pass, and you continue on. If, however, you fail a unit, then you can move on depending, but you're to the next semester, but you'll have to repeat that unit when it next becomes available. Failing a unit may deter you from moving from one level to the other, depending on your score, okay? But this is the process that happens. And if you fail a unit, like you get a referral and you fail the referral, then you have to pay to repeat the unit, right? Just a note. Now, what about awards, right? What would I graduate with? Well, there are different award systems in place. Like you could get first class honors, upper second, lower second class honors, or third class honors, right? So those are the different qualifications. First class, upper second, lower second, third class. A first class honors is your average mark in the 70s. An upper second is if your average mark is in the 60s. A lower second is if your average mark is in the 50s. And third class is if your average mark is in the 40s. Please note though, that only your grades from year 2 and year 3 count. If you started directly at year 3, then only your year 3 grade will count. But if you started at year 2, then your year 2 and year 3 grades will go towards your final exam. If you started at year 1, your year 1 grade do not count towards your overall class of degree. Only your year 2 and year 3 grade qualifies, okay? Now, let's talk about the support available at CTS College, right? Now, our support is really what I believe is our key distinguishing factor and our main competitive advantage. How many of you, if you don't mind, how many of you could use the raise hand feature as well, have heard about CTS or recommended to CTS because a friend came to CTS and they highly recommended us? Any one of you got recommended to CTS by a friend who had a good experience, right? Gotcha, right? So in most cases, we have found that, liaising with our students have felt that the word of mouth is what really has gotten them there. Friends recommended CTS because of the good experience they've had. Now, I want to be very careful because the truth is I want to be as honest with you as possible, right? And I will be, but I'll also share with you what we do. At the same time, it's not about bragging or boasting or any of those, because I need to be honest to myself as well. But I could tell you, particularly in the BSc in IT, we go all out I know Kurt Banfield very well as well, Derek. So we go all out for our students, and I'll share with you a bit of what it is we do. So for example, before you even start, we believe the BSc is a big investment. It's an investment in terms of your time, your cost. There are other options available as well. And it's really important that you get to know the program before you start. We don't just want you to come in and sign up. Yes, it's a business and we need customers, but really between me and you, CTS is a ministry for me. I believe this is where God wants me to be. And therefore it's really important that we don't focus on the money, but we focus on the individual. This information session really is about providing with all the information you need to help you to make the right choice. This is not about forcing you and pulling your hands to join CTS. It's really about sharing with you what the CTS experience is like, what the program is about, so that you can now compare this with your other options as well. and then make a choice. Because the truth is, there are many options available for you guys. And I think you should consider and review and find out and then make your decision, right? But I could share with you intimately about what the CTS experience is like. So you may have inquired and you would have gotten an email with the details, right? Hopefully we would have had a good response time between your inquiry and you getting the details. We would have sent you an email with all the information, with a package with the costing and the timetabling and other stuff as well, right? Then apart from that, we invited you to an information session where we present all this information to you so that you have all the information and you can ask questions as well, right? Of course, I give you my phone number so you can reach me anytime you need also. But that's just the early part of it. When you apply, we will help you with completing the application form if you need. When you apply, we submit your application to the university. When the university responds, we get back in touch with you. We keep you updated as well on your university status, the status of your application, right? Because sometimes there are delays at the university, which is beyond our control, but we keep you up to date with it as well. Then apart from that too, when the university sends back your offer letter, we call you, we guide you through, we email you as well and call you to guide you through in terms of the next step, which is to complete the offer letter, return to us. Then our emails are detailed as well with how to go about now the next step, which is like, okay, now that you've accepted, you will have to make a payment towards your fees as well. Then before you start classes also, we conduct an induction session. At the induction session, we prepare you academically for your program by going through Harvard referencing, and we go through the university's process because you're also a student of the university. A lot of students simply think, well, you know, in the past, we've had students who think, well, I'll sign up, I'll agree, and then I'll just drop out whenever I want, etc. And we've had few cases like those where students felt that, okay, I won't attend classes, so well, they know I'm not attending class, so I dropped out of the program, but it doesn't work like that. The university has a formal withdrawal process, right? And even CTS too. So it's really important as well that you recognize these, right? And you abide by the university's rule, right? You just can't operate what you call Vike. There's a process in place for everything. But apart from that too, right? When you start the program now, so we do this before you start the program. And then when you start the program now, your classes are recorded. It's all on Zoom. At the end of every class, you get an email with the details of the class. Just like at this information session, I'm going to send you the recording and I'll send you the slides that I'm using as well. So you have access to all the information. So in case you miss something, you have access to it, and you also have access to me to verify in case you want to have a conversation even after, right? Because you may not have wanted to ask something in class, so instead you prefer to ask afterwards, right? Then apart from that now, the classes are recorded, you have available access to the class. The classes are live, so you can join the class just like you did, but you also have the recording. We provide, when you have assignment, we do tutorials. Like my students have an assignment due at the end of this month. Last night, we did a tutorial for the student. We will review a draft so that even when you do your work, we review a draft and tell you how you could improve it, etc. Right? And therefore, the whole idea is about investing in you because you've invested in us. So we review a draft before. Of course, you could choose to not to submit a draft to us. That's your choice. But we encourage you to submit a draft so you could get a lecturer to review it and give you feedback. Then apart from that, are you still getting the audio lag? Right, Derek, is the audio lag still there or is it improved now? Are you guys hearing me? Oh, improved, right? Okay, gotcha. All right, that's my flow issue there. Okay, so in terms of the assignment, this is what we do. For those subjects where there are exams, we do lots, we compile all the past papers as well, and we do lots and lots of past exams, right? Preparing you for it, right? And because of all these efforts that we do, we don't just, teach you alone. We prepare you to undertake the exam by investing a lot of time in tutorials as well. Apart from that, we also have, like right now in our level 4 class, on Friday, we do what we call a homework session to help students who may have challenges in learning. So the Friday session is geared now to basically go through the homework and to help students at a much slower pace now so that they can understand the information a lot better, right? Our lecture notes are much more detailed than what the university provides, providing with a wealth of information so that you know exactly how to do. You have samples so that you can see what a good example is, rather than, you know, you have to do things at the top of your head and not knowing how well this will do. So you can actually see, right, stuff. So you get a lot of help and a lot of support. But even apart from that, you need letters, wherever you just email us, and everything is online. Call us, WhatsApp us, etc. We also have created WhatsApp group for every level. So there's a level 4 WhatsApp group, a level 5 WhatsApp group, etc. These WhatsApp group are really an ideal place where every week we put reminders for your class. We put the links for your Zoom classes. Even though the link is not changing, we keep putting it every week, because you'd be amazed how many students will keep asking. Well, they would want to know if it's the same link over and over, even though it's the same link they use every week for 15 weeks, etc. So every week we keep reposting it to students. We keep sending you reminders about tutorials, information session. If we recognize particular trend in terms of how students are doing their assessment, we share it with students both via email and via the WhatsApp group. So we recommend, therefore, for this program that you be a part of WhatsApp as well, because you'll benefit from the WhatsApp group. But apart from that as well, you also have access to email, because we communicate mainly by email and WhatsApp. We do call you as well. So even when it's exam, right, we call every student on the day of their assignment, and even before, remind them that they have an assignment due. And even from early morning, from 6 o'clock, assignments are due at 10, we start calling anyone who didn't submit the assignment, calling over and over until we get through to you. If you're able to get through, we call your in case of emergency contact, etc. and that sort of thing. At the end of it, look, this is about you, not about CTS, right? And you are basically placed at the forefront of it. Now, please note, this doesn't happen in all of our programs. I'm sharing with you what happens in the BSc. So you may go to one of our other programs, but you may not have that detailed level of support. Because I am part of the BSc program, I'm ensuring that these things take place, because, you know, I have to keep my word. If I tell you this, I'm going to keep my word. I'm trying to get my other program managers to come up to scratch as well, right? But the support is not lagging far behind in terms of what I would explain, what I'm explaining to you. But this is part of the support. So if you have a child who needs additional help, you know, I think CTS is going to be one of the best options you have available to you as well, okay? So we provide a lot of, you know, like one-on-one guidance. We have a counselor as well if students need additional support and they need a measure of counseling because of maybe pressures, different pressures. It could be pressures at home that, you know, they're having challenge, you know, with we have that additional support. It's not a cost to the student, it's a cost to CTS. We bear the cost, but our students, as I said, are our priority, and therefore it's important that we look after our students. Right. I did talk about the support earlier on, and I also talk about, well, induction. I mentioned what we do at induction. Now, please note, you will also have a program manager for the BSc, right? In fact, you'll have two persons. You'll have a program manager and a program administrator, and both of them are basically fulfilling the same set of functions, because my take on it is that all my employees should be able to do everything, right, within the program. So they are all able to support you guys throughout your journey. In terms of our lecturers, we have lecturers who practice what they teach. So we try to get practitioners as opposed to just persons with a qualification. We want persons who practice what they teach. So therefore, for networking, the guy who's teaching networking is Glenn Singh. And basically Glenn has written numerous books on networking, and he's by profession, he is also in networking as well, and cybersecurity also. In database, I teach a database, but my previous role was a database administrator, right, in my job. So I'm very conversant with databases in particular of my years of experience as well. And similarly with our programming as well, we have persons who are programmers by nature who are teaching you as well, right, as part of their job, right? So they have a lot of industry experience in what they teach. Now, because of the classes being online, you would need you should have access to a laptop or a device where you could do your research, write essays, and write your assignments, etc. Right? And you should have a good Wi-Fi connection as well. Now, where would you graduate? Well, the good thing is you guys can graduate both in Trinidad as well as the UK, right? In terms of the lecturers, there was a slide early on where we looked at the lecturers. So the lecturers vary from one semester to the other, but we have 4 to 5 lecturers per semester. Each semester typically will have 4 or 5 different lecturers. All right, so you can graduate in the UK and you can graduate with CTS. Our graduation is typically at Hyatt. Now, because of the whole issue with COVID, naturally graduations have taken a whole different turn, right? But we believe that in time, we may be able to get back to the original kind of graduation. But for now, what we're doing is more the photography side. So what we've done, we have to change our graduation where in December, what we're doing is that students are coming in smaller groups to get their pictures taken, their portrait, as well as the stage crossing picture, but it won't have the speeches and stuff like that. It's not like one formal occasion where everybody is together and we have a valedictorian speaking, etc. We won't have those because of the nature of the event. So it's a constant flow. So from 10 o'clock all the way to 2 o'clock, students are coming in batches based on the program to get their pictures taken, etc. So it's a whole different type of graduation, right, that we're doing. So it's a constant flow to minimize the amount of persons there at the venue at one time, but we're making sure you get your portraits, etc. Okay.
Excuse Ralph, just one quick question. Somebody was asking if there's an age limit to start the program.
None at all, right? The only thing is that the university is currently, they want persons 16 years and over, right? But we are working with them because our programs at CTS, you could complete your CSEC before the age of 16. So we're currently negotiating with them to accept younger persons, but there's no age limit in terms of maximum age, but in terms of minimum age, currently they're suggesting 16. Now, even if you're younger than 16, you could still apply, right? Let the university decide, because each student, I believe, they do it on a case-by-case basis as well, okay? All right, now we did discuss the entry requirements. So I'm not going to go through the entry requirements again, right? But again, you'll have access to all of these. So we did talk about what you can use to get into year one or level 4, level 5, level 6, right? Now, if you're interested in applying, this is what you need to submit. You would submit the completed application form, and I'll guide you through how to submit the completed application or how to complete the application form. You submit your resume if you have one, and a form of ID, whether it's a passport or national ID, right? Or your driver's permit in worst case, but passport, national ID are preferred, then driver's permit if you don't have those. If you're using work experience, and your IT work experience, that is a letter of employer, is helpful, but not mandatory. If you did any courses before, you could submit to us any copies of your results from those programs. So like a copy of your certificate or your results will be helpful. It doesn't have to be an official transcript if you have the certificate, right? But it could be the unofficial copy of the transcript in most cases. And if you did any ID certificates, you could include those. Whatever you have, you provide it to us, right, to help us. Now, please note, even if you started a program and you dropped out of the program, an IT program, still let us know, because those things can help you to get accepted at a higher level. Now, what happens when you apply? So this is the process that we go through. So the first thing you do is you will submit your your completed application form to us. Don't worry if you cannot sign it. Now, please note with the application form, you don't need to print it out to sign it, right? I'll guide you what you can do, right? Once we've gotten your application form now, and it has all the documents, we'll send it to the university. If it's incomplete, we'll advise you what is missing so you can provide that to us. Completed application forms are sent to the university. The university will review the application and then provide an acceptance letter, right? Once we've gotten the acceptance letter now, we would then email the offer letter to you along with a registration form. We will also call you as well to let you know. You are then required to complete and sign the offer letter. Only when you sign and return the offer letter and the registration form back to us, then that's an indication of your willingness to start. If you don't submit it back, it means you're not starting, because you cannot start unless you send back those documents to accept your place. Then you would be registered, and you could make your payment for your fees as well. Then once you've made a payment, then we will submit your documents to the university, and then, right, you will be accepted by the university. They will grant you access to Brio, right? And then you will attend the induction and classes start. I just have to update these because these dates at the bottom have to update, right? Because induction is in January, right? So just a note, the date for induction, I did overlook this here when I was updating the slides, but in terms of induction will be the 29th of January as well as the 2nd of February, right? 29th of January and 2nd of February, our 2 induction days. It's 2 days of induction, and classes start on the 5th of September, okay? So how much, now we're going on to costing, right? Hands raised, I'm not sure if I'm seeing some hands raised, but I'm not sure if it's asked a question or if it's some persons had their hands from before when I'd asked. Any question you want to ask, guys?
Oh, yes. Okay. How much is the cost for the tuition? How much are the fees?
Well, I'm getting into that now. How much will it cost? So I'm going into the costing now, right, David? So I'll do that now for you. Other question?
Hello, Ravi.
Yes, Derek.
All research in terms of a job letter, will I need to send for the university?
Even if it's an old job letter, but it has your start date as well. All of those are helpful, right? So if you have an older job letter, we could work with that, because you may have worked at a company and left that company and you have an old job letter from them, that would work as well, right?
All right, thanks.
Cool. All right, no problem. So in terms of the costing, this here is the overall cost of the program, and then I'll break it from overall into semester and then semester into monthly. So I'm going to break down the cost bit by bit as we go along, right? If you have a question, feel free to unmute your mic and ask, right? If you have a question, feel free to unmute your mic and ask the question as well. So in terms of the cost now, the bridging program, it's $500 to register. Tuition is $2,000 for the subject, and the university fees is £150. For level 4, which is year 1, it's $500 per semester to register. It's $2,000 per subject. Now there are 4 subjects in level 4, so that's $8,000, and the university fees is $600 in total. So when you add it up, level 4 costs roughly in total $15,000. So level 4 costs $15,000 in total, but we're not going to pay that up front, right? You don't need to. I could show you how to pay per semester. Level 5, on the other hand, costs $16,000 with the fees given here, whereas level 6 costs $26,000 in total. So there's a jump from level 5 to 6 in fees, and that's largely because the university fees went from £600 to £1,500. The pound conversion is roughly 10 to 1, so this is about 6,000 here, but the university fees is £1,500, which is about $15,000 for level 6. Now, we do have payment plans available, which I'll go through. This is your semester. If you break it down per semester, right? So for the semester, the bridging program would not change because it's done in one semester. But for level 4, it's $7,500 roughly for the full semester fee. Level 5 is $8,500, and level 6 is roughly $13,000 for the semester. A semester runs for 4 months. Now, you could pay that fee monthly as well. So we have a monthly payment plan as well. Now, note you're not paying anything more by paying monthly either. So this is an example how it works. For level 4, you pay $500 for the registration, and you pay $1,000 per month for tuition. You pay $1,000 per month for tuition, $1,000 per month for tuition for 4 months. And the university fees is £300. But of course, we recommend you pay the university fee at the start, but the reason is because we have to pay the university up front. We are paying the university, we have to pay the university for all students up front, so we ask if you could pay the university fees up front. If you're unable to, I could work with you on a case-by-case basis to come up with a payment plan for the university fees, right? So as I said, I'm willing to work with you on a case-by-case basis to develop a payment plan for the university fees. But because we have to pay the university fees up front, we normally encourage students to pay the university fees up front if they could. For level 5, you pay $500 registration and $1,125 per month for 4 months, and you're £300. Level 6, you pay $500 for the tuition, for the registration, and $1,250 per month for 4 months for your tuition fee. And of course, you have the university fee here. Now, here's the thing. We have a special offer available for you guys where you could get up to $1,000 off your tuition, which is $250 off each subject. So $1,000 off tuition fee per level, which works out to $250 off each subject. Now, how could you get $250 off each subject or up to $1,000 per level? Well, this is what you have to do. Now, to access our special offer now, there's a special condition that applies. This is the special condition. You need to submit your completed application form by next week, Friday, with your documents. So I need to get your documents by next week, Friday, which is the 19th of November. And you're submitting your application to study at CTS College. right? So you have until Friday of next week to submit your completed forms. And then your fees now, you have to pay your fees by the 10th of January. You have to pay your fees in full by the 10th of January, and you will get your $250 of each subject. Good. So once your fees are paid in full by the 10th of January and you submit your forms by this Friday, you can qualify for the special offer. Anything there that you're not certain of or you need more information? All right. So when would I start? Classes start on the 5th of February. So our next semester classes actually start on the 5th of February. And induction is the week before that, right? That's Saturday 29th and Wednesday, I think the 2nd of February. Good. Now, so now we finish our formal presentation. We have our question and answer. But what I also wanted to do, guys, I wanted to share with you our share drive, right? So you could get an idea of the resources you have access to. And I also wanted to guide you in terms of completing an application form. So you could actually see what a completed app, how to go about completing your application form as well. Okay, so I'll go through those with you. Any questions in the meantime? So I'm more than happy to field any question with you guys.
Morning, everybody. I have a question. So, do you guys have a payment plan, or do you have to pay in full, as you said?
No, you have payment plans. So I just went through the payment plan where you could pay monthly. So this is you could pay monthly. And if you're paying monthly, you could pay like $500 to register the start. And each month for level 4, you pay $1,000 per month, right? You pay $1,000 per month at the beginning of each month, right? And then you pay through your university fees as well, right? Are you seeing the payment plan on the slides?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
No problem, right? So, and I'll email this to you as well. Yep, go right ahead.
So let's say you have exemptions to get you to level 6. However, looking at the content of the actual courses themselves, you would like to still participate in some of the courses from, let's say, level 4 or 5. What happens in a situation like that?
Very good. And I like that question. Our goal is to ensure that our students are best qualified. You see, if our students go out there and represent us well, you are not just representing yourself, you are representing CTS, the University of Bedfordshire, and all the students in it as well. The same thing if you go out there and you madden up the scene, it will impact all of us. So what we do, I give you access to all the materials for all the levels. And then apart from that, you only pay for the classes you are doing in level 6, but I let you sit in level 4 classes, level 5 classes as well. Now, it might be difficult to do that while you enroll in level 6 because you might be focusing on your stuff. But even after you finish and you want to get a refresher, there's no cost to it. I let you sit in any of the classes as well. Because my take on it is the more qualified and the better you are going to represent us better as well. So what I do, I'll give you an example of the share drive, right? So all students will have access to the share drive. Now, I will give you, there's a share drive for level 4, level 5, and level 6, as well as the bridging program. And then there's the supporting information. In the supporting information, we'll have like assignment schedule, how to access journals, like things that students might sometimes forget. All of these are available at your fingertips, like how to pay fees, Zoom link for classes in case you forget the Zoom link for class, your timetable here in case you forget what day and time you have class, even though we send weekly reminders as well, etc. All this stuff from induction and Harvard referencing, all of these are available here. So if you go to the Harvard referencing one, you will see the tutorial here, the files, as well as the recording from the session, etc. All of those are available for students as well, right? But apart from that now, let's look at if you're in level 4. So if you're in level 4 now, and you're doing the fundamentals of computer science, then this class is made up of 2 parts. There's the peopleware and the hardware. So this folder here takes you to the recording. So if I go in there, I'll get the recording, right? So I'll get the recording. So you have each class recorded here where you can play your recording, right? But apart from that though, so that's the recordings. We downloaded the books as well and have them available here, right? So you have the PDF version of the books, right? Our lecture notes are here. So like, for example, these are your lecture notes for each class here, right? Topic 4, topic 3, etc. So these are the different lecture notes as well, right? You even have recordings of the lecture notes from previous lectures as well. And all the tests, like because one of the components is a test, all the past exams are available here for students as well, right? Then apart from that, this here is the guided learning is from the university. So this is the university's resources as well. So you have access to their resources also. And then apart from that too, you have access, well, the unit information is your syllabus. So this is more your syllabus information. And the assessments, this is where all the assessments are. So if, for example, here, you go to the previous semester, if you go to the previous semester, you'll see samples available as well for assignments. And we provide multiple samples for you. So you can actually get an idea of the students' work as well, right? So if I were to pull up this, you can actually see, hey, the student got 95 marks here, right? And you can actually see the submission with the comments as well included, right? Etc. So basically these are things I would have talked about, and I'm showing you evidence so that, you know, so just to show that what I said is actually is the case, right? So this is level 4. And if you go to the other levels, it's very similar. So if you're in level 6, all of them is really a replica of each other as well, right? So each level, you have similar stuff. So if you go to the undergraduate project, right? So the undergraduate project, you have the same set of things as well: unit information, guided learning, assessments, lecture notes, etc. Right? So it's the same general concept. But what I did with my lecture notes, I divided it based on each assessment. So these are the lecture notes regarding each assessment. So if you go to the assessment, like let's say go to the final report, right? You'll have the lecture notes available here, chapter by chapter, right? As well. Okay. So these are the online recordings. So this is what you have access on our share drive that students would have access to. Okay. The other thing that I want to apprise you of as well is how to complete the application form, right? Because a lot of students spend time with the application form because they see it and they probably think it's much more than it is. So I just wanted to go through it a bit about completing the application form. It's not a biggie. So this is an example application form. Don't worry about the signature if you can't get the signature in. What I normally do, I will take the picture of your signature from your ID card or one of those, and I'll paste it in here. So if you can't do it, don't worry about that at all. So first, you indicate male or female accordingly. So you click the appropriate box, right? Then you put your date of birth here, date, then month, then year. You put your first name here. If you want to put your middle name, it also goes on the same line. And your family name is your last name. So family name is your last name, right? So sometimes students put all the members of their family in here. It's just your family name is your last name or surname, right? So family name is really your surname. Okay, this part here is only if you change your last name. If you change your last name, right, like you got married and you change your name, you could put it there, or if you have an affidavit and you had a previous name, you put it there. Don't worry about the passport, leave that out. Your correspondence address, if your correspondence address and your home address is the same, just simply put it over here, your full address, okay? Don't worry about the postcode because a lot of persons don't have the correct postcode anyway, right? If you have a home phone or you have two cell phones, you put your home phone here and your cell phone here. But this here is your most important phone. This is your primary phone. If you also want to include like your parent and you want to include your phone number, you could include your phone number as well. Okay. Then your email address. Now, very important. Sometimes students send us an email from a different address and then they put a different email address on this here. I would prefer when you're sending us this stuff, send it from this address because we have to communicate with you via email and the university also is using your email. It's important that you put you use that correct email address. So I would recommend the email address here is the email address you'll be emailing us from. All right. Don't worry about your Skype ID. Do you have any criminal conviction? Yes or no? Right. You'll choose accordingly. Your country of birth, put where you were born, which country you're born in. Right, put where your nationality, like Trinidadian in this case, and country of domicile is where you're currently living. That's where you put here. For these, you could just put no, and visitor. No for these and visitor if you wish. Right, no, and visitor is fine. And how will you pay for the course? You could put self-funded, meaning that you or your parent or relative will be paying for it. Right. You don't have to fill out agent detail. That's our information. Right. For section 4, the program is BSc Information Technology. Now, this is an undergraduate program. So this is UG's undergraduate. Postgraduate is a master's, right? So it's undergraduate. Now here, I want you to specify if you're starting year 1, year 2, or year 3, which is a level 4, level 5, level 6, right? As the case may be, because sometimes a person leave it out, but they want to start at level 6, but they don't tell us. And if there's no value here, it assumes that is year 1. Once you haven't put a value here, we'll assume it's year 1, but I'll still encourage you if you could explicitly put the level that you want to start. And then this is the intake. So your intake will not be September though. Your intake period will be February 2022. So for this, ideally you will put February 2022 instead, right? So you'll have February 2022 as your start date, okay? Now, when filling out this section is critical because the university is looking at your academic qualification to determine where you should start. So in filling out your academic, please don't take like 6 lines to put your CXC, etc. You could use 1 line to put your CXC passes. So for example, you have secondary is the level, right? From 2011 to 2016, or whenever you did your CXC Form 1 to Form 5, or whenever, if you just want to put your last 2 years, your choice, the date you got the certificate. The awarding body is CXC, not your school, but the awarding body is CXC, right? So CXC is the awarding body, not your school. And you'll put here simply how many CXC passes, like 6 CSEC passes as the case may be, right? If you did A-level, it's similar secondary, and the year you start and ended, and you'll put like 8 K passes or however many K passes you did. Now, let's suppose you did certifications, then you could put the area is IT, and the year you started and finished the certification. The body that you did it with is CompTIA, right? If you did the CompTIA certification, you put CompTIA. If you did it at CTS or SBCS, etc., and you didn't do the CompTIA exam, then you could put CTS or SBCS because you have our certificate, and you could put the course A+ here. Now, what if you, so this is to handle certification. What if you did a program at UTT, COSTAT, or one of those? Then, of course, you could put the area where it's computing, IT. It doesn't really matter whether it's IT computing, you could put IT for it, or computing, it doesn't matter. You put the start and end there. Now, if you finish the course, you'll put the year completed, which is date of award, right? You'll put the awarding body and the diploma in whatever here. So like diploma in operating system management or software engineering or something. If you did COSTAT, you'll have COSTAT here, and of course the associate degree in operation system management, etc. Now, what if you did not complete a program? If you didn't complete the program, then you would have incomplete. Here would not have a value. You will have the awarding body, but you could put like BSc, IT, or whatever program, year 2 incomplete or something like that. So it shows you did start the program, but you reach year 2, etc. Right? Once it's an IT program, it's helpful as well. Okay, because it shows you have a higher level of study. So this is how you fill out the qualifications part, 1 line per qualification. Next at the bottom, the English language qualification, right? You could put, if you did CXC English, you could put none, and then you put CSEC English, etc. Right? So you could fill this out. Right? Note that in some of the forms, whatever you put in the first row, automatically the same thing repeated 3 times in the others. It's a problem with the form, so you don't have to worry about it if that happened to you. Now, if you do have work experience, please include, especially if you have IT work experience, put the IT work experience first, right? So for example, IT technician with the more recent one at the top, IT technician with this is your job title, this is the company name, and you started in the 4th month 2019 till current, that's full-time. You are clerk before at whatever other company, and this is from this period to this period here, right? Full-time. And so you fill in your work experience. Now, you don't really need a personal statement. It's not absolutely necessary, so you can leave that out, right? Do you have any physical disabilities? Yes or no, right? How did you hear about us? Through CTS, through search engine, you can put accordingly. Now, for this section, I need you to put the names of 2 persons. And for those persons, a phone number is sufficient, their name and phone number. But if you could add the other information, if you have it, fine. But if you don't, minimally, I need a name and phone number. The university does not normally follow up with anyone, but it's important that you put the name and phone number of persons. It could be a teacher, it could be someone in authority that you know at church, etc., or maybe a neighbor that you know who has a senior position. But barring all of those and you don't have, then you're really not supposed to put family members. But if you don't have those, you still need to put some names, so you can put maybe relatives if that's the case, but that should be our last option. Okay. All right. And after that now, right, you have your declaration. Again, signature goes here, but if you don't have it, you don't need to print out the form, please. Don't print it, fill it out and send it. You can just leave it blank and I will fill it in for you if you need. And that's basically the application form. right? So you send this form together with your supporting document, like your ID, the front and back of your ID, the passport page, with not your visa page, the passport page is where you have your biodata for your passport with your date of birth and all those things, and expiry date of your passport, etc. If you don't have that, then your driver's permit, and along with any qualifications. Now, if you just did CXC, then if you could go to CXC's website, you won't have your certificates yet, but if you go to CXC's website and you do a proper full print screen of the entire page with your results, that will be helpful also, along with any other certificates you may have, etc. Cool. And that, guys, brings us to the end of our session for today, right? All fees are paid to CTS College. Thank you, yes. Right? Any other questions you guys may have? I will be sending the presentation and the recording after. Just please remember, right? If you could include your email address, please, because it's possible we may not have your email address. If you could include your email address, please, in the, right here for us, include your email address, please, so that I can be sure that you get the recording afterwards, right? So please include your email address. Okay, Derek, I'll check as well and see. I believe, depending on which year you finish, I should have a copy of it as well. So I will check. All right. Okay.
Hi.
Derek,
Ralph,
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Morning. So
Good morning. Ravi.
Okay. Morning, Ravi.
Good morning, Kevin.
I have no IT certification or IT work experience. So how do you treat with that? How do I
And you're more than 18 or so, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, level 4, right? If you have done nothing in IT, then level 4 will be your ideal starting point. If you have IT stuff before, qualifications or experience, then you could consider higher level, if not level 4.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. The only thing I would have done, in all honesty, is IT repair. So I build systems, I repair systems. That's about it. So when it comes to like databases and stuff like that, I have not done stuff like that.
Gotcha. In that case, honestly, I believe level 4 is probably a smart choice for starting because of all the stuff you'll be covering in level 4. While, of course, if you start at a higher level, you could save some cost on the lower level, but the learning is not always repeated all the time. So like the Java, Python, the Oracle databases is not necessarily repeated again, right? So I think those skills will come in very handy, right?
Okay, thanks very much.
No problem.
Ralph, earlier somebody had asked a question regarding, you were speaking about the AI technology. They just wanted some indication as to how in-depth that syllabus is.
Right. So because it's a course that covers emerging technology, it will look at different technologies such as search technology, etc. And you'll have an assignment where you focus a bit on the technology, but you're not going you're not going in a lot of detail on a specific technology unless the assignment covers it. Then you'll definitely be doing a lot more research. But for your project, right, what we'll be doing for the final year project, we are using artificial intelligence in our e-commerce application by using the chatbot feature, which is an aspect of AI within your application when we are building it. So we are building a chatbot into your e-commerce application as well. So that will be a practical part that we are including. But in terms of the course that includes which includes AI, it is covered at a basically more the technology level as opposed to a very practical skill in that particular class, because it's more about becoming familiar with the trending and emerging technologies. You can do, in terms of payment, please know there are multiple payment options. You could pay at the office with your card or cash. You could pay online with an online bank transfer as well. The only thing is the university fees recommended you pay that in pounds, so you may have to liaise with your bank to get the pounds to pay the university fees. A lot of students, even after the session, believe that you have to make a payment first. And please note, you don't need to make a payment as yet. All we really want is your application form. And after you've been accepted, then payment comes in, right? So you're not paying up front, you're simply applying up front, and then payment could be done later on, okay? So I want to make that very clear to you all. We will send the details of payment information, but it doesn't make sense sending that as yet because you don't need to make any payment as yet. Only after you've been accepted and by the university and they issue your offer letter and you complete the offer letter, confirming you're accepting your place, then payment becomes an, consideration there. So I will send you payment details at that point. Okay. But I'll still send you the costing information now, but the pay, how to pay, I'll send it later on. All
Hey,
right.
Rafi,
Yes.
we doing any in that program, you're doing anything in iOS and Android app development?
Right. Okay. So in terms of the mobile app development, no, but the fact is you're building responsive application that could work on any device. So you will be building more web applications rather than mobile application, right? Or Android apps, etc. So it's more focusing on developing applications using more web-based application, right? So you could develop websites such as e-commerce applications and stuff like that.
And another question I wanted to ask you, I heard you mentioned something about robotics. You all do any practical stuff with robotics?
The course, no, the course for the robotics, artificial intelligence, it touches on the emerging technologies, because as a student in IT, you need to be aware of what we call the emerging technologies. So therefore that course covers those, but you might have an assignment that might be focused on search, like search engine optimization, etc. And you'll need to know algorithms, etc. for those, but you're not actually going to build anything in robotics per se. The course will focus more like in terms of programming with Java, Python, those things, building applications with those, as well as building web application, design, database, from a database, a front-end and back-end design as well. And also from an application design perspective, where you're designing sketches and wireframes and interactive prototypes, that sort of thing would be covered. You'll do IT project management. You will cover from a theoretical side, like robotics and cloud computing and those things, right? But not really any practical in those areas. All right. Okay. Now, guys, I'm staying back. If you want to ask other questions, I'm also putting my number again. So I'm going back to the slide where my number is, so that feel free, you can call me, right? So feel free to call me anytime as well. So if you prefer to speak to me one-on-one after the session, I'm more than happy to facilitate your calls and stuff like that and your conversation. So this is my number here, right? 777-1294. That's 777-1294. That's my number. It's on the screen. That's my email address as well. Feel free to reach out to me anytime also, okay? And each level can be completed in 8 months, as Siddiq said. And the program, if you're starting from level 4, you could complete it in 2 years. Great.
Hey, Rafi, I could share my experience about being a student of yours.
I would love that, Derek. Thank you very much.
Right. Because
this is Kenwin Jones' brother, Derek. Or he was Andy Jones. Go ahead, please.
And
Derek, you go right ahead. Huh? We're not hearing you. Derek?
He seems to have been disconnected, Amrav.
Okay, no problem.
yeah. Yeah, back.
All right, thank you. Go right ahead.
Yeah, you would have taught me programming.
It's
Them days it was Turbo Pascal. I even remember the project. The project we had to do was to create a payroll program.
Yes.
I could even remember the amount of work that went into that. I got credit in programming actually for that program. Yes, I did pretty well.
Of course.
Yes, but anybody interested in coming or even sending their children, I would absolutely recommend it, because CTS really goes above and beyond to make sure everybody does well and passes. That's my personal experience. And even my friend and all who recommended I go here could Banfield and all could probably attest to how much they work with their students to make sure they pass and achieve at that institution. And I see, you could see all the World Prize won and so on in that school. So that just goes to show you how they push their students to the next level.
Derek, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, And indeed, Kurt has sent a lot of students our way as well, and he's a wonderful ambassador for CTS as well. I'm always grateful. Hope one day each of you can be an ambassador for us also, sharing the good news about CTS, but you have to experience it first before you can share it, right? So I'm trusting that when you do sign up as well, that your experience will be even greater than theirs. At the same time, guys, if ever anything doesn't go according to plan at CTS, feel free to let me know, right? We don't just want to hear about the good news. Even when we falter, we are a learning institution. So feel free to come and talk to me. As I said, I give my number to everyone because we have a very open door policy. You come to me and tell me, hey, Ravi, I was disappointed with this. I felt this could be better as well, because we're about learning. We know that, look, sometimes we may fall short at times, right? And it's not about making excuses, but really it's about learning. So you come to us and share with me as well, what we can do to improve also, or where we've fallen short, so that sometimes we're not always aware what you see. And because of that, it's important you share your perspective, whether it's good or bad, so that we can use that to improve. Okay. Guys, I want to say a big thank you again for attending today's session. I'm really grateful that you've attended, and I'll be sharing with you the recording from today's session. I'll need probably about 2 hours because the video takes a while to convert, and then I have to upload it to YouTube, and then I have to update the file with all the email addresses. If you haven't put your email address on the chat, please do so for me so that I can be sure that we get your email address and you get the recording. If by the end of the day you haven't gotten the recording, then feel free to email us, study@CTS College, and advise that you didn't get the recording from this session so that we could send it to you as well, right? Now, please note, we have other sessions taking place as well. So you need to specify it's the BSc IT session also. But of course, if you put your email on the chat, make sure you put the correct emailer, because Jahat, your email doesn't have a dot between Gmail and .com. So make sure you put the correct email address, because any error in the email address, if you left out a word, if you put a space where it shouldn't be, or stuff, you'll have, you would not get the email, right? So of course, with that one, I could figure it out, but some cases I'm not always able to. Guys, thanks once again. We'll be closing off now. You have my number, it's 777-1294, and I'm more than happy to take your calls and chat with you one-on-one afterwards. Okay? Have a blessed day, everyone. And this is me signing out. Okay? Goodbye. And Derek, a big thank you again.
Thanks very much for the presentation. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Everybody have a good one.
Sadiq, thank you once again for your support and assistance today's session. I'm really grateful.
You're welcome, always welcome.
All right, Trevon, I think we communicated recently because I recognize your email address. All right, man.
Yeah.
We did. No problem. So I'll be sending all this stuff to you shortly. All right. Thanks again, guys. Goodbye.